You know when an artist is already pretty good, but you can just tell that an artist is now actively trying to push themselves and their sound to the absolute limit. That's this album.
Roll with it, but my family still got stroll with it. Put the VVs on, cold with it. Pussy smelling like a rose in it. Dive in it, I'm a zone with it. Nah, she don't ever wanna go, nigga. I'm a new.
So to start off with where I kind of got on with Nafe Smallz, I started with the song Smoking. I think that was in like 2016. I think it's either 2016, 2017. But that's the song that kind of got me onto Nafe Smallz. Nafe Smallz kind of has his own brand of UK wave music, even though he's a standout figure and a standout name within it. It's called Ozone Music. It was actually the title of one of his first albums, and it really stands out. He's very known for his vocal performances, and I think out of the UK wave genre, I think he has the best voice and he has the best vocal performances out of everyone in the UK wave scene. So essentially what I'm expecting from this album is more of the same, and how consistent his vocal performances always are to stay that way. So before we get into this review, make sure you like and subscribe if you're interested in this sort of content or anything else like it. So to move on to the album itself, Goat World. I feel like it's not a grandiose statement he may be making. I mean, sure, you can look into it and say, okay, I'm pushing my sound to the absolute limit and now I consider myself to be the greatest in UK wave music. Welcome to my world. But I don't feel like the concept of the album and the songs on the album revolved around that idea as a concept. So I'm not going to make the leap that that's what Nafe was trying to do in the first place. But yeah, you kind of get the idea that he's trying to push his sound as far as he can and show you what he's really capable of when he's really trying. So to kick things off with part of the plan, everyone loves that Nafe Small M Huncho collab. And this is another one of them. They're all like dime a dozen, and it's great when we get them because we've kind of been screaming ever since we got the first one, the two of you need to do songs together, and now they're doing a few more songs together and it's nice every single time. I don't think any of those link-ups have ever been bad. No, there's not a single one that I would say is bad, but I don't think this is as good as Thumb. I think Nafe gives a better vocal performance on Thumb, but Huncho gives a better vocal performance on this. Nafe Smallz has better like rap flows on this as well, but his rap flows, it's not really centered around that so much on Thumb, and I think I just prefer it because I like Nafe's voice and like when he's more on the singing side of things and showing off his vocal range, which that's what Thumb was more about, but not quite what this song was all about. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I also think that Nafe Smallz's pen is better on this song, and I think across this entire album you'll notice that Nafe's pen, in terms of his lyric game, wordplay and just general punchlines, that sort of thing, it's improved a fair amount. Just over the space of one project, it has improved quite a lot. He's got a lot more charismatic with his lyrics as well, and that really does come across, especially in this song with lyrics like "niggas still rapping about old flows." I like it. I like the kind of bravado he's got coming along with these lyrics. So Fine China has a really nice concept. to the song. I like the kind of Chinese bamboo flute as well. It fits together with the theme of the song. But the lyrics aren't exactly topical. I feel like you've set up the concept really well with the title of the song and the theme of the actual instrumentation used on the beat. But you didn't really do anything with the concept, which is kind of annoying. But I still think he gives a quite stellar vocal performance. Like I said, consistent vocal performances is something Nafe does well. And I think he kind of shows off a little bit in terms of the vocal range a bit, so I do like it. Ocean Deep was a track that really surprised me. I mean, Wretch 32, I thought was an artist that could never really cease to amaze me. And then I thought, okay, but there is limits to what he can do, right? And then this song comes about and it's like, no, there's actually no limit to what this man is capable of. And it's ridiculous. Wretch 32 comes on a bashment flex and he really does it well. It doesn't sound corny, even though there's a bit of patois going on, a bit of the Jamaican accent being put on. It doesn't sound forced, it sounds natural, which is nice. He works well on a hook, back to back with Nafe. I like how the two of them complement each other. And I like how Nafe, his vocal performance doesn't suffer even though he's on a different tempo, which still works. And I do like how consistent Nafe has been so far. Even halfway through the tape, I still found that his vocal performance hadn't dropped at all. J-Lo is the first track on this album that I had a serious problem with. Honestly, this song just makes me want to tear my hair out. Like, I don't understand why Dino, even though he has such a brilliant voice, he's never put on the right songs that really show off his vocal range and what he can do without it just sounding really corny because of the topic of the song. Like, you know how old Dino is, you kind of know what he looks like. I know it's a very weird thing to say, but I feel like his image doesn't match. Even though his singing voice is amazing, it just doesn't work with the song. But it's kind of like if Alvin and the Chipmunks started trying to make these kind of sexy, really raunchy R&B tunes like Bryson Tiller.
Are you back to mom? But the way you rapping around me is a problem.
Like, it just wouldn't work. It just would feel really weird coming from Alvin and the Chipmunks. It would just be really weird, and that's kind of how I feel about Dino on this track. I kind of like how Chip goes with the kind of melodic rapping though. I feel like he's picked that up from Insomnia and kind of brought it over, and it works. His lyrical quality doesn't drop very much at all, and I feel like he's singing inside of a vocal range that he can handle, so it doesn't feel like he's straining himself in any places. But that's kind of how I feel about Chip's verse on this. But kind of going back to Dino, specifically on vocal range, that's what I like about Dino. His vocal range on this is really impressive. He's all over the place and he's hitting the notes really crisp and clean, and it comes off really nice. But because of the topic of the song and the lyrics that he's drawn up for himself, it just sounds really weird and corny, which just makes me hate the song. I feel like J-Lo is supposed to be a club kind of track and a kind of mainstream one for the charts, but the beat just doesn't jump out at you enough. Like, this is one of those tracks where this comes on and then you run to the bar to get a drink until the song changes and then you go hit the dance floor again. Freak really isn't my kind of tune. Nafe Smallz and Young Adz do the whole I like eating pussy thing for 3 minutes. To me, it's kind of boring as a song concept. It's been done. It's probably been done better, but it's still just not very entertaining for me. It's like, yeah, we get it. It's just kind of boring. I understand why people would like it. I understand why it's on here. It does make sense. It's not completely out of place, but it's just not my thing. The whole kind of hyper-sexual thing, I don't know. I just feel like you might roasting and you just need to just chill out and just get some subscription to Pornhub or something. It's getting a bit mad now. It's not really entertaining anymore. Big Rax is my favourite lyrical performance on this thing. It really shows how much his pen has improved, and he comes with some witty one-liners kind of dotted in, and kind of with the rhyming schemes coming a little bit cleaner and a little bit just well thought through, and he's kind of showing off of it as well, and I do like that. You got some pretty cool one-liners on there, like I freestyle but you know the style ain't free, or I smoke boys like I'm swift and sleek. They're pretty clever, and there's quite a lot of them dotted around this whole thing, and generally the flows are quite tight on it as well. As far as kind of melodic rapping balances the idea of singing and being within a vocal range and rapping and having flows and bars, this is where it fits together the best in any song, in my opinion, from Nafe. Because usually the lyrical side isn't spectacular. It's okay, it's still decent, it's still quite a bit above average, but it's nothing that really jumped out at me. Whilst here, you feel there's a lot more thought taken into it. He makes an effort to come with a lot more witty one-liners and bars and throwing around different rhyming schemes about, and I feel like it's just more there in terms of his pen, and I did enjoy this track. Like, his flow comes really aggressive, and the different tones that he uses with the ad-libs underneath, this is a bop. You can't say it's not a bop. Like, this is definitely a bop. It's interesting how we get the best lyrical performance. Following that is the best vocal performance. Home Run, I feel, is the best vocal performance on this thing. I do like how the kind of calmer tone of the instrumental and how it's less in your face lets Nafe kind of wow you with how really good his vocal range can be. He's kind of all over the place, hitting these notes in the kind of coarse-ish voice that Nafe can have sometimes, but it still works really nicely. I kind of think the song vocally is beautiful, and it shows off his unique selling point, which is that he has the best voice in UK wave music and he has the best vocal range. So yeah, that's what I think of this one. Bad for Me as a song is almost perfect. It's just that high note that he goes for, that he uses for the hook, I actually think that's outside of his vocal range, which is really annoying, because I literally just said his USP is his vocal range, but I like how he's trying to push himself. He's trying to push his vocal range as far as it'll go. Me, personally, just a little bit out. And I think Myra May, who is the feature on this, should have taken that bit of the hook, just for that high note, just so it comes out cleaner, because it would have come out cleaner from her than it did from you. sounds harsh, but that's just what I think. But to talk about the song itself, I love this song, and I really like how Nafe Smallz and Myra May bounce off each other. It's like a really nice duet. We don't really get R&B duets like more traditional ones anymore. It's more like you got an R&B singer who kind of provides a hook and some kind of nice little stabs underneath, and then you've got the rapping. But it's not like an R&B duet, and this feels a lot more like an R&B duet, but with more UK wave elements than R&B, if that makes sense. But I do like it. I love Myra May's voice. I don't know why, but her voice just does stuff to me.
Corrupt, corrupt, your mind and your inside, dirty.
Like it's very nuts. Like Myra May's delivery is just really silky and really smooth, and the way she just glides through the notes on this melody. She just has a brilliant voice, and I think she's a great addition to the track. And it kind of suits everything that's going on. Yet again, this is another one of those instrumentals where the beat just isn't in your face as much, which allows the two of them to really show off and have more focus put on them, which makes sense because their vocal ability is what makes this track what it is. Another grievance that I have is on Phones Off. I don't know why Nine starts randomly singing. Like, this is just one thing the rappers are doing these days. I don't understand. Everyone just wants to randomly sing, where one, it doesn't make sense, and two, you can't sing. I'm sorry, buddy, you can't sing. It's just not working here. But what really irritates me more is you have a song like High Notes, which would have been perfect to slot Nines in, just rapping. If you just slot him in there and have a great verse from him, or maybe even a hook, it works perfectly. And if anything, that's what High Notes is missing, because without that, High Notes is kind of just another, well, yeah, this is another dreamy singing sort of thing, but it doesn't offer that much variance. And I feel like some of the other songs don't offer that horrific amount of variance on this thing. The songs I did highlight, though, I do think, yeah, he's changing styles across this. I do think he captures a various range of styles, but the songs I chose not to go too far in detail about are songs where I thought, yeah, it's kind of more of the same, if that makes sense. So overall, I'm gonna give this a C+. I do like how he really tried to push his limits in some places. In other places, it led to his detriment. In places. I do think some of the instrumentals on this are a little bit on the boring side, but there are a lot of instrumentals that I really liked, and I do like how some of the features are used really well, but other than the features, it's just like, why did you do this? I don't really get it. I don't really feel like there was really a grandiose concept for the entire album here. I just generally think that he wanted to display a project that shows how much he's improved and how much he's pushed his sound to his absolute limit. And that's generally what I think of the project as a whole. So, thank you for getting to the end. Like and subscribe if you want me to do more reviews. I've got a ton of reviews coming up this week. This is just one of the first of many. I should have another 3 coming this week. So make sure you like and subscribe and click the bell notification just so you're up to date with everything. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.